we're on location today at a school.
Man, I didn't think I would ever be back here again. Honestly, when I graduated high school, I kind of made a pact with myself that I would never set foot in high school ever again.
Oh, those memories, some good, some bad, but man, if these walls could speak, I bet they could tell all kinds of stories.
Crazy stories. And young adult literature has blown up with a ton of people writing about the very topic of what goes on in a typical high school.
Yes, hopefully not so typical, but yeah, what goes on, what these kids experience during this age.
So for this book review, we have 3 different books, 3 different points of view of what goes on, and of course we're going to tell you our opinion about the book.
But feel free to check it out yourself.
Alright, so the first book that we both read was a throwback from when we were kids.
Yes.
It is Judy Blume, of course, and we had to read Blubber because that is the quintessential school book. What happens in this book.
Yes, and it's like she just really, Wendy just gets a thrill out of terrorizing this little girl, and others don't want to be that person that's being picked on, so instead of going against Wendy, they jump on the bandwagon.
And it kind of almost seems like people blame her for being the victim.
Yes.
Which I always think is kind of strange, but actually that's kind of how it plays out sometimes in the real world, that you actually don't understand why is this person not sticking up for themselves. Yeah. But the main narrator, honestly, I kind of thought she was slightly a brat, yes, in my opinion.
Yes, she was, yes, definitely a brat. There's that.
But all in all, I mean, Judy Blume does this amazing thing of actually putting you right there. You're mad and you're angry and you want to say something, and yet you're reading a book, and so that experience in and of itself is only something that really great writers are able to actually do.
Yeah, I guess I was just a little disappointed though in the ending of the book, and I won't give it away. I was just a tad disappointed. I think when somebody experiences this type of bullying, it may not, like, it seemed as the book just kind of abruptly ended, and she, spoiler alert, I guess, it just seemed like she just kind of went on with it. She was okay, and I think when you go through something like that, it's not that easy to get over, especially age 10.
So that's our review of Blubber. Basically, we both have a rating system that we follow, and the rating system just kind of lets you know on a scale where we think the book actually lies. So Ash, what do you think?
Judy Blume fans are probably going to hate me, and I love Judy Blume too. It's just reading it from this new perspective, being older and wiser. I thought it was just okay to be. I think it's a great story, and I do think you can have great discussions with kids that age. I guess I was just listening to it.
Okay, and on those lines, I think I'll give it a 3B. Just because, like I said, I found myself getting angry. I found myself wanting to say something. I think it actually was an intriguing book, but I do think that the ending was rushed, and definitely more could have been added to kind of add a little bit more depth. But for a middle school or late elementary school student, I mean, I really think that it's a 3B. It's a good book to read.
Yeah, probably age 10 and up.
Our next book that we read, we're moving into high school, definitely moving into high school. This is Speak by Lori Halse Anderson.
This book I really enjoyed reading, even though it's about another difficult topic and another deeper discussion going on there. It was a great book.
Really great book. On so many different levels, so many of us, we live our lives, we grow up, and we're able to kind of just move on and evolve. And I think that that is one of the main things that is amazing, because Melinda, the main character in this book, goes through something really terrifying before actually entering high school. It all happened and started the summer
beginning of freshman year, isn't it?
Yes. So basically, in this book, there's a young woman. She feels like she's an outcast, and you find out that she's an outcast for a reason, right?
Yeah, but it kind of is the reason everybody thinks she's an outcast. One thing I loved about this book, though, was the way the author used humor throughout this dark situation she was in, the way the character used that to cope.
Yes, she does an amazing job of just figuring out who she is in this world. And normally, you know, some of us are in our 30s, 40s, still trying to figure that out. And so it's kind of amazing to see such a young character kind of evolve and figure out her place.
Yeah, she matures throughout the book. You see growth. Even in some of the other characters around her, you see growth. And yeah, just great book. I really liked the ending too.
Yes, I did as well. So with that being said, what rating would you actually give Speak?
Gosh, I'm gonna go with 3.5. 3.5 feet. I definitely think it's worth reading. But I also think I am a really big ending person, and I just wanted to see real consequences for the accuser.
And I think that this is a realistic view of high school these days, that sometimes, unfortunately, consequences aren't necessarily divvied out the way we want it to be. And so I really like the fact that the main character was able to move on without that. So I'm going to actually give this one 4B, just because I have personally given this book to young people going through things, and they have come back and they've told me what an impact it's had on their lives, and that it enabled them to kind of get past what they were going through. So I know the impact of this book. So yeah, I think I'm going to give it a 4B.
Yeah, another thing I read while I was reading this book is that, you know, even boys are reading this and they're like, wait, I read something like a boy was saying, what's so bad? I don't get what happened to this girl is so bad. And so it's starting up conversations between people, and then realizing, you know, silence isn't a yes. Yeah. So, great book.
Alright, so our last book of our agenda for today is one that took my breath away. I cannot lie, it took me a few days to decompress before I could even talk about it. And this book is called Leverage by Josh Cohen.
Yes, this book, I think it just takes a while to filter through everything that happens in this book, and to, even get that, I feel like it kind of left a stain on me. I don't know. It's very great writing, just very, very dark content in some places.
Yes, the writing was impeccable in terms of giving you these different perspectives of just a typical school year for these boys. However, it is set in kind of what I envision like a small town where, you know, you have the good old...
yeah, the good old boys, and football really big there.
Huge football, and basically everything revolves around the football team and giving money to the football team, and everyone else basically are losers and don't deserve to be at the school because they are not a part of the football team.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe of the book, but the book is so much more than sports, for sure.
Yes, you have Kurt with his background that's coming in, and you know, Danny and his dad, and yeah, it's so much more than that. You know, it was such a compelling read. Even if I would have wanted to put it down, I don't think I could have. I had to figure out, see how this thing would play out.
For sure. I mean, I had to keep reading even though I had to take breaks. This is a book that after, you know, a few crying fits, I was able to actually soldier on. I would say, you know, kind of from like an educator's perspective, and I know you're a mom, so I'm sure you're kind of the same way. This is a book that I would probably say really is more new adult. It's really not young adult to me at all. It's, I can
18 up and up, yes. Probably not that. 18 up and up, not anything for junior high, not anything for young high school. It's, in my opinion, and I know kids go through so much, but it's just, I don't know that there's any positives at the end. And there is a little bit, but not enough to outweigh the risk of some of this reading.
Yes.
You definitely would want to know if your kid is reading this.
Yes, I think this is book that if any book you tell parents to read first,
Yes.
this is one that you need to read first, and then use your discretion of whether you feel it's something that you want.
Your child is mature enough.
Yeah. But
Jen, what was your value rating on leverage?
okay, so this one I almost have to do like a report card. Of course, you know I am a teacher. So for writing, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4B. I mean, the writing, I think, was all the puzzle pieces fit together. Things actually gave you multiple perspectives. So for the writing, 4B. For the content, I will say 3B, just because I feel like although it is a good depiction of kind of the new bullying or really beyond that criminal behavior, I would say that the content, almost some of it felt like it was more for shock value than for actual quality of building characterization or building the plot. So for that, I'll give it a 3B. For readability, in terms of for high school, this is packaged as a young adult book, I would actually have to go either 1B or 2B, just because it's packaged as just a sports book, and it's not. It is not just a sports book. So in terms
of this is on the shelves in the library as top picks for teen readers.
Yes.
I know you don't know what we're talking about if you have not read Leverage, and if you have read Leverage, maybe you're not seeing this through our eyes, but it definitely, I think it needs to come with some sort of warning for the group it's packaged at, for the group that is targeted to read this book. It's just pretty violent, and I hope this isn't the typical, I mean, I come from Southern Oklahoma, and big football, and I have not heard of this type of violence happening. I'm sure, in some cases it has, but I don't think it's typical, which is fiction. People draw with fiction, but for readability, though, I mean, he is a great writer, and definitely, I did root for some of the characters.
Alright, so there you have it. That's our review of Leverage. Feel free to comment below, especially if you have a different, if these walls or halls could talk type video. We would be more than happy to read it.
We'd love to. Send us a comment.
See you next time.